Do you know that not everyone can own a property in Nigeria? Surprised? Never worry. In this video, I'll be sharing all that you need to know. Can a foreigner own property? Can a child own property? Can a company, business, and NGO own property? Pay very close attention because I'll be answering all your questions about who can own property in Nigeria. Let's get started. Let's look at the Constitution. We know the Constitution is the grand law for Nigeria. It contains the laws for this country. So what does it say about owning property? Section 43 says that every citizen has the right to acquire and own immovable property anywhere in Nigeria. So once you are a citizen of Nigeria, whether by birth, by naturalization, by any other means recognized by law, you can own property in any corner of this country, from the north to the south, to the east, to the west. However, there are a few points to note. First is the Land Use Act. So we have another law called the Land Use Act, and that act applies all over Nigeria, and it governs lands in Nigeria. All right. Now, the Land Use Act provides that the governor of a state can only grant a statutory right of occupancy to anyone who is older than 21 years old. So let's do a little bit of history, and so I can give you a background story on how this came to be. So before 1978, when there was the Land Use Act, we had different ways land were governed all over Nigeria. So the Land Use Act was introduced to introduce some uniformity all over the nation. And the Land Use Act created the statutory right of occupancy. So it is a situation where someone who owns land applies to the governor of the state within which that land is for a right to occupy the land. If you have ever heard of the term certificate of occupancy, this is what we're referring to, the same thing. So the certificate of occupancy is the document that shows that you have been granted a right to occupy that land by the governor. Now, note that right of occupancy does not mean that if you haven't applied for a certificate of occupancy that you don't own land. No, because the law also recognizes that people had been owning land before 1978 under native law and custom. People have inherited land under native law and custom. They've settled on land under native law and customs. And so you can't deprive them of their land. So they were only required to apply for this certificate of occupancy. So if you could prove that you've been owning land through the different means, the governor would grant it to you. So that was what the 1978 Land Use Act introduced. So under this regime, under this right of occupancy rule, if you are not up to 21 years, you cannot be granted a right of occupancy. All right. So now, the only situations where a person younger than 21 and called a minor can be given a certificate of occupancy or governor's consent is where a guardian stands for the minor. All right, where a guardian stands for the minor and where the minor inherits the property. In those two instances, the governor can grant a certificate of occupancy or governor's consent. But apart from that, it has to be someone above 21. But remember what I said about the Land Use Act, about people who had been owning land before then. This applies for properties that have registered title only. So this rule about the age applies to if you have registered title, you have gone to the registry of the state where you are, or if it is the FCT and you have the document registered there, then this will apply. Okay. The C of O cannot be granted to you. The governor's consent cannot be granted to you except you are 21. But if you hold land under native law, this rule doesn't apply. Okay, this rule doesn't apply. You have the right to own land regardless of your age. So that is the first question that we get asked about age, ownership and age. Then the second is, okay, can a foreigner own property in Nigeria? Now, like you would see in the Constitution said every citizen of Nigeria. So what happens? The Constitution left that blank for the states to decide. So each state now has the law that provides for how foreigners can own lands in their states. Okay, so if you want to buy land in any state, what you should do as a foreigner is to get a lawyer and get legal advice on the way you as an alien can acquire property in that state. And for instance, I give an example of Lagos State. Lagos State has a law called Acquisition of Land by Aliens Law. That law specifically states how foreigners can own land in Lagos. So that is that about foreigners owning land. Now, another third question we get asked is businesses and non-businesses. How can they own land? Now, if you have a business that is legally registered with the government and is a legal entity, it can own land in its names. And the legal entities we have are companies and limited liability partnerships, because in law they have all the rights that a human being has. Just like you and I can own property in our names, a company can own property in its name. A limited liability partnership can own property in its name. However, if you have a business name and you want to buy property for that business name, if you are a sole proprietor, you cannot own property in the name of that business name you registered, okay? You have to use your name as the proprietor, and then you say trading under the name and style. Your lawyer would guide you through that, okay? So that document is valid, because the names of the parties on any document affects the validity of that document. So if it's a business name, it has to be in the name of the proprietors. If it is an NGO, as we commonly call it in Nigeria, registered as incorporated trustees, the documents would carry the incorporated trustees of and then the name of that NGO. So let's say we have an NGO called Checkers Initiative, duly registered as an incorporated trustee in Nigeria. If they want to buy land, what will be putting on their document of title, putting their name as the buyer would write the incorporated trustees of Checkers Initiative. All right. Whichever way, make sure to engage an experienced property lawyer to guide you when you're buying real estate, because if you have a document that the wrong party is indicated on it, is not the party is not legally described, that document is invalid. Your ownership is invalid. It goes to no issues. All right, I have a book that you should go ahead and download. It's called Red Flags to Avoid When Investing in Real Estate, and as of today, it's been downloaded by over 400 people with amazing reviews. You will learn what you should look out for when buying real estate in Nigeria, and what are the red flags that when you see them, you know, I need to abort mission now. I need to get help. I am about to be scammed. All right. And I also shared the 5 steps to buying real estate step by step in Nigeria. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the comment section. And do make sure you subscribe to this channel for more exciting and informative videos like this. I have another video for you, so make sure you watch them. See you in the next video.